Hello again, welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is BGFH, and yep, it's that time again. It is Tuesday now, and another day of E3 press conferences to talk about. So, I'm doing kind of what I did yesterday, just to kind of speed things along a little bit better. So far, we've seen the Nintendo and Square Enix conferences. And tonight we have this new event, the PC gaming event. I think it's done through PC Gamer, if I remember correctly. That said, I think it starts at like 8 o'clock my time, so probably won't be able to get a video out tonight as I talked about yesterday. I'll record this part of it, and then I'll probably end up, taking a couple notes and then uploading the full video for today after work tomorrow, because today is my last day off, so unfortunately I got to go back to work tomorrow. So I have to try to go to bed a little bit earlier tonight so I can actually get some sleep. That said, I did pop into a Left 4 Dead campaign again, just for something for you guys to watch. And I also did try to turn the in-game volume down a little bit, because, the main focus isn't necessarily Left 4 Dead, it's just something kind of entertaining to watch. The focus is E3 coverage here.
Whispering Oaks!
So, when I looked at yesterday's video, I'm like, the Left 4 Dead footage is maybe a little bit louder than it should be, so I cranked her down a couple of notches. And, so hopefully that'll help out a little bit. So, Nintendo. What did they have to show in E3 2015? Well, they had a pretty good variety of stuff. Nothing too unexpected or crazy, there were a couple surprises for sure. They started off, oh man, if you don't watch anything from the Nintendo press, you almost have to watch the press conference just for the little segments. They did these almost like Muppets. Reloading. For like Reggie and Iwata and just a couple other people at Nintendo. And it was really stupid, but really actually pretty hilarious. So I totally approve with their new approach. Instead of doing a live stage show, doing these pre-recorded digital events, as Nintendo calls them. Because, last year they did this, I forget even what it was last year, but it was pretty funny too. They did this whole, skit Muppet thing in between stuff, and it was pretty great.
Alright, take the off-ramp.
I laughed pretty good about that. So they started out the show by showing off what they teased last year, Star Fox. Yes, there is a Star Fox game coming to Wii U later this year. It is called Star Fox Zero. And if you're interested in Star Fox, that's definitely a game to look forward to. I really want to like Star Fox. The Super Nintendo version is just really cool. I love the polygon look to it. The Corneria music is some of the catchiest first level music ever. Just look up Star Fox Corneria. That is some catchy ass music going on there. I'll always remember
Ammo
that.
Here.
Reloading. But I've always stunk. I just suck at flying games in general. Star Fox 64, same thing. Looked really cool. They added speech to it. These branching paths and everything. Most people prefer people not talk about Star Fox Adventures, but that is the one that I do own, because I was like, hey, it's a Star Fox game where I don't have to fly as much. It's kind of like a Zelda-ish thing. And definitely had its problems, but yeah. So Star Fox Zero looks to be, you've got your R-Wing, you've got your regular characters that are, accompany you throughout the game. So they'll give you directions, they'll help you out, you'll have to help them out, all that kind of traditional stuff. Your vehicle transforms, I guess, into different things, and they have different types of vehicles, and that was kind of their theme this year. They kept stressing everything transforms, whether it be something in a game, there's strategy, like a series transforming from one thing to another, another actual product, which I'll get to here very shortly. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested in Star Fox, definitely look into that. The one thing that kind of worries me as a visually impaired gamer is that, and I don't know how much of a big deal it'll be, but basically their whole spiel for Star Fox was that you play the game third person like you normally would on your TV, but then you use your, like, the accelerometer stuff in the Wii, or in, I was gonna say Wiimote, the gamepad, and that gives you this kind of first person view in your cockpit so that you can kind of do this as like a more of a fine targeting sort of thing. So you're supposed to be able to use them to kind of work together. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how well that's going to work. If there could be some, you know, issues for like a low vision user. I mean, it looks interesting. I kind of hope they have a demo that I can download just to try it, because I'm not sure if there's, like I said, going to be a visual problem playing the game. But I'm also just not sure. Like I said, I've always, I like watching them, but I'm just terrible at flying games. So as much as I want to like Star Fox, I'm not super excited about it because I'm terrible at those kinds of games.
Boomer!
Let me pause it here. I'm doing the phone thing again here, so I can just try to keep track of the list of all the stuff they talked about here. I'll talk about it right now, even though they really did it more later in the presentation. Super Mario Maker is the official title of the crazy Mario Maker thing that I talked about during the Nintendo World Championship thing and what they announced last year. This game is going to be absolutely sick, and they confirmed that yes, you're going to be able to download and share levels online. Huzzah! Just what I wanted to hear. I just hope that, like, the sorting process and everything for those levels are going to be great. Just everything. Super Mario Maker just looks really good. It's coming out September 11th. Funny enough. But yeah, Mario Maker. Super Mario Maker. I don't really know what else has to be said, because I did kind of talk quite a bit about that on Sunday night. I just know that it's going to be absolutely crazy, and I'm really excited / terrified to see what kind of level monstrosities people are going to create. It's going to be a really fun game to just look up, especially if I can find a good YouTube channel eventually when the game comes out that covers people playing through just crazy, awesome, and sadistic Mario levels. I like watching that because it's just, you're on the edge of your seat all the time just going, holy crap, A, I can't believe someone made this, and I can't believe, B, that someone's actually making it through this gauntlet of nonsense. So, really pumped about that.
Explosive rounds here.
Now they are doing a big focus of their conference also was Amiibo, as we very well expected it to be. But they did something really kind of weird. So Skylanders, if you're not familiar, I don't know a heck of a lot about it because I'm just not really into that. But basically it's this, they kind of started this whole figurine collecting thing where you buy these little toys, you put them on this little pedestal, and it reads their chip in them or something, and then you can use those within a game. So if you have a certain character, you scan it in, you play as that character, or that type of thing. So they have, oh no, not a tank. So the Skylanders, they actually released oh crap. I gotta stop here for a second. I gotta take care of Mr. Biggin over here. Or hopefully he doesn't take care of me, and I can't. Okay, settle down there, ladies and gentlemen. So the Skylanders thing, basically, they said, oh, we're adding a couple of characters. It was, what was it, Bowser and Donkey Kong, I believe, are going to be playable in this new version of the Skylanders game. But then they said, oh, remember the whole transforming theme that we're talking about? Yeah, well, what is going on with, like, I've never seen this bug. There's like a... Are you done? There's just this, like, text of just... What the hell, man? Alright, let me help you. Dear God. Somebody's just getting his butt kicked back there. So they're using them in the Skylanders thing, but they're also... You turn the bottom of their little pedestal, and then they become amiibo. Oh, yeah. So you can use them in both Skylanders and other Nintendo games, I guess. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're into the whole collection thing, I guess that's cool. I have not personally got into the amiibo just because a lot of their implementation seems kind of weak. You know, it's like a lot of the Nintendo stuff is not even, oh, you can play this character. It's, oh, well, you can kind of maybe unlock some stats or some attribute or some outfit for a character, which, especially as hard as it has been to find amiibo, you hear about that everywhere. Just not excited, you know. I mean, would I like... I actually wouldn't mind, like, some of them look kind of cool. I wouldn't mind just buying a couple as kind of collectible figures, and maybe one of these days, if there's a game that really supports it that I really like about it, you know, I wouldn't mind getting a Link one, maybe a Mario one. I wouldn't mind the Little Mac one from Punch-Out. A couple of those types of games I necessarily would not mind.
Grabbing a shot.
But, yeah, I just, as of right now, not really feeling it. But it's kind of cool that they're doing this whole transforming thing. As we approach this witch up here, let me see what else we got going on here. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't forget anything. Okay, so... Zelda Triforce Heroes. They did a lot more 3DS stuff than I thought they would. They almost put more. They almost showed more content than for the 3DS than they did the Wii U today. A lot of RPGs and stuff too. So they started by showing the Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes, and this is like a kind of like a Four Swords type of thing. It's a multiplayer Zelda where you can play 3 players online this time. And basically the whole gist of it is there's this kind of twist to their mechanic of... Oh god! There's this twist where they go to this kingdom or whatever, and a large part of it is like fashion-based. So you're going to get different outfits and stuff, and those are going to give you different abilities. And so you're combining that with the different character traits and solving puzzles in multiplayer, that kind of thing. It looked pretty good. I think, if I remember right, they were using the Link to the Past engine that they did for A Link Between Worlds last year. So, I mean, the game looks really nice. It's just really kind of tough because, I mean, I could play the game last year, but, you know, some stuff, just like, especially the reading on the 3DS, just because it's such a small screen, I do have trouble with that. So it's like, as much as I love the 3DS, games with a lot of text in them, it's like, you know,
gotta keep up,
not the best I've ever, you know, not the best experience. But they didn't say anything about whether it would be...
Hey, that was a little too
whether you would be able to play like with AI characters, or like where you could split it, you know, you could play single player. Like in Four Swords Adventure, you had these like clones, and you could do different formations to get through some of the puzzles that would, you know, the game would play a little bit differently if you were playing alone, but you could play it by yourself. So I'm hoping that they actually do have that. Then Hyrule Warriors Legends, the Zelda Hyrule Warriors that came out on the Wii U, is also coming to the 3DS in early 2016. And they're basically adding, you know, it's basically a combination of Dynasty Warriors and Legend of Zelda characters and environments and things like that. I haven't gotten too far in the game, but I've started to play the Wii U version of that last year. It's pretty fun. It's pretty entertaining. definitely one of the more engaging higher or Dynasty Warriors type games. They get pretty repetitive after a while, and I think just having some kind of cool characters that you can more relate to, like, you know, everybody knows a lot of the Zelda characters, so and locations and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to see that in kind of a different context than a regular Zelda game. So yeah, you know, I don't mind that. That's pretty cool.
I'm reloading.
But it's coming with all the, you know, basically the DLC characters and stuff that you could get for the Wii U version, and some additional stuff. So, ooh, yeah, my favoriteest weapon in the game, the fire axe. Sorry, distraction. So then they went into Metroid Prime Federation Force, I believe it's called, and this is another 3DS game. So I guess it's like another Metroid Prime game. I think there's two components to it. I think it seems like it's primarily a multiplayer focused game. I don't know if there's really any single player content, but like you're able to you can fight each other, and then that's where that blast ball that they played in the Nintendo World Championship on Sunday, that actually came out as a mode from the Metroid Prime game, which they didn't even clue us in. You know, they said, "Oh, well, hey, this is a, you know, it's a blast ball." Okay, I thought that was a standalone kind of thing, but no, that is actually a part of the Metroid Prime stuff. So that is kind of unexpected, but kind of cool. Yeah, 3DS again. I'm guessing with that game, you're really going to want to have the new 3DS with the little analog stick nub on the right-hand side, because, you know, the original Metroid Prime, when it came out for the original DS, its whole gimmick was like, oh, hey, by the way, you're going to use your stylus, and you are going to, you know, you're going to control the game by looking around that way. And no, that I really didn't care for at all. You know, an analog stick would definitely be easier, I think, to make work. And but the nub, I don't know. I just don't know if the nub is going to be quite enough to really make that good. So I would actually, again, like to see, both for ease of playability on a larger screen, and for, you know, the two analog sticks, I would like to see that come to the Wii U as well. So then they showed a couple of Fire Emblem games. This is where they go into more of the RPG stuff. They did the Fire Emblem 3DS game that's going to be coming out here, I believe, in 2016. And then they're doing the Fire Emblem crossover. The Persona Fire Emblem crossover, and they showed a lot of the problems with these RPG kind of games, especially the more Japanese style ones. They really didn't show they don't show really a lot of gameplay. It's all these like CG anime kind of things, and it's like, okay, I mean, yeah, that the graphic style looks really good, especially for a portable system, but at the same time it's like, and I'll get to this especially when we get to the Square conference coming up here. The problem is I want to know what the games play like.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
Xenoblade Chronicles is coming to the 3DS as well. This is basically another port of a Wii U game that came out last year. They really didn't show much. There's a lot of dudes running. Or a main guy, he's just running a lot. That's basically what that showed. Animal Crossing Happy Home, I think it's called, or something like that. It's an Animal Crossing 3DS game, but it's basically just you building, like, I'm not sure how you unlock things, but basically you're building up your own little house. It's not a full Animal Crossing game. But it's more focused on, like, oh, build your creative house, you know, make it, you know, buy all kinds of stuff, arrange it, which is fine, I guess, but I've never really got into the Animal Crossing games much. Just never really have. That said, you know, I mean, a huge number of people are into Animal Crossing, so they'll probably get into that. Then they did show another Animal Crossing type of game for the Wii U. Animal Crossing Animal Festival, I think it's called. And this game, it's, again, it is not a true... It is not a true Animal Crossing, like, sequel or Animal Crossing game. It kind of seems like almost, I'm not exactly sure how it plays, but it almost seems like a board game-esque, like a Mario Party sort of thing. I don't know if there are really like mini games that are going to be in it, or like what you're going to do on the board. But they were, you know, they were showing some kind of conceptual gameplay stuff. They really didn't talk
I found a burger tank
about
in
the
this place.
mechanics much.
I'm gonna be a one-man cheeseburger apocalypse.
So, oh, somebody made the witch mad. Hold on. Die, witch! Hey! I said perish. Okay, you're already helping him up, so let me check here.
Hey, thanks a lot. Okay, I ain't going on. I'm really hurt.
Come on now, walk that shit
So,
off.
Yoshi's Woolly World. Now, this is a game that they announced last year
Weapons here.
and that I was pretty excited about. On the Wii, they had a game called Kirby's Epic Yarn. And that game, it was a simple game. You know, a lot of people would say it was too easy, but the art style and the presentation and the charm of it, I mean, really, I think the only real word you could call that would be adorable.
Look here. This here first aid is mine.
I did buy it because it just looked really cool, and I really enjoyed it. You know, it was just, it's colorful, it's bright. They use the yarn. It's just a really cute game, and I'm totally fine. You know, people are like, oh, you know, the cutie stuff, you know. It's like, no. If it's a good game, and if it's cool, I will play it, you know. I really enjoyed it, and I just thought it was really kind of cool. So now, they are releasing, actually, yeah, or no. Mario Maker was not coming out September 11th. I'm getting them mixed up. One of those, either the Kirby, or the Yoshi game, Yoshi's Woolly World, or Super Mario Maker is coming out September 11th. I forget I got them mixed up, but one of them is. Anyway, Yoshi's Woolly World looks just, again, instead of wool, this time we're going to, it's like wool based, you know, and all kinds of fabric thing again. So it's kind of a similar
You gotta
spiel.
hurry.
But it's, you know, your 2D platformer kind of thing. But again, it's kind of one of those things that's just adorable, is kind of the way that you would describe it. But it looks just like a lot of just really fun. So that one is more than likely a purchase for me right away. I really enjoyed the Kirby one, so I think the Yoshi game will also be quite entertaining. That one will use your amiibo as well, so if you have not only a Yoshi amiibo, there's going to be a Yarn Yoshi amiibo, which just looks cool. I'm almost tempted to get that myself. But if you have, like, say, they said, like, if you have, like, a Mario amiibo or other characters, Yoshi will transform in Yarn form, and you'll kind of be playing as those types of characters. Now, I don't know if your abilities will change if you play as kind of one of these other characters. Maybe they'll give you like an extra ability, or if it's just a cosmetic thing that just kind of looks cute. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's going to be a fun little game to play. I'm looking forward to it. Let me see what else we got here. Oh yes, the Mario and Luigi games are back. Paper Jam. So they're kind of combining Paper Mario, the RPG, and the Mario and Luigi games that started with Superstar Saga. They're kind of combining those into something, and that game looks really kind of neat too. Again, here's a problem. It's 3DS, it is text heavy, and because of that, it's going to be one of those games that is going to be really hard for me to personally play. Would I love to play it? Absolutely. Am I going to be able to? Probably not. There's been a couple of DS and 3DS Mario, like Paper Mario or Mario RPG games. Yeah, you piss her off. Oh, really? And then you go after me? Really? Hey, how about you leave him alone or whatever? Okay, you done?
They keep jumping your shit, and you keep going
Alright,
down.
so,
one more time, and that's it.
Thanks, man.
You know, I think it'll be fun, but I don't think that I'm going to get it just because I think it's going to be hard to read. I was able to play Superstar Saga, which actually started on the Game Boy Advance, because I played it on the Game Boy Player. They had an attachment for the GameCube where you would attach it to the bottom of your GameCube, and it would turn the system into a you could play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games right on your TV. It was almost like a souped-up Super Game Boy. Instead of a cartridge, it was just a system that would add on to the bottom of your GameCube console. So I was able to play the first one, and I liked it. You know, it was one of those turn-based RPGs, but just, you know, it was a little more simplistic, a little more kind of action-based. You had this timing thing, just like you do in the South Park games. You know, where if you hit the button at the right time, you're going to get a stronger attack, that type of thing. But it was funny. I mean, it was there were some funny parts of that game, and it was just, I think the other ones would probably be near, if not just as good, but seeing as how the only way to play them is on a very small screen, not necessarily the most accessible. So, despite wanting to play it, I have a feeling that I'm going to have to sit this one out. But if you are able to play it, more power to you, and it looks like it should be a pretty entertaining game. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, I believe, is next year as well. And it's a Mario Tennis game. I'm sure that's going to use the amiibo too. They showed,
proud out there, people.
you know, all the classic characters playing tennis as usual. There's been other Mario Tennis games on other Nintendo platforms. They did show this time that they got ginormous somehow. I don't know if that ties into amiibo or power-ups or something, but like the characters, you could get really big, and then they were just you know, stomping around the tennis court, which was kind of amusing. So that is coming out. Yokai Watch, I'm not sure how to say that. This was some kind of really weird Pokemon-esque kind of game that is coming over to America. I didn't really understand what was going on in that game at all. But if you're into the Pokemon style type of games, this might be something to look into. I can't really speak much more about that myself, because like I said, I just saw the little footage that they had during the show, and I really didn't get a whole lot out of it. I mean, it's a good looking art style, but again, that's one of those kind of RPGs I just don't really play a whole lot of myself. Couple things that they didn't talk about that I was hoping that they would was they quit Club Nintendo earlier this year, which was kind of their reward program. Like if you bought systems, if you bought games, you would put these codes in, and then if you earned enough, you could redeem them for rewards. So you could get like Wii or 3DS codes and download games. They had these, they cycled through some of those on like the Virtual Console, and they also had like physical items that you could get, like, you know, little carrying cases for your DS or its games. I got one when they quit it. I had some points and you had to use them by a certain date, so I picked a couple of Virtual Console games up, and I got this little Zelda Majora's Mask little carry bag thing, which that was kind of a neat little thing. So I got that. That was kind of cool. But having stopped this whole Nintendo this Club Nintendo thing, I was really hoping they would have said something about, they said that they're going to do like a more kind of comprehensive type of an account that theoretically, if you're reading into the words correctly, they're looking at maybe more of a widespread type of account. So, right now you have your friend codes, you have your system codes or whatever, but they really, really need to unify just one account. You've got, and your Club Nintendo account is not the same, I found out, as your regular Nintendo account code. When I set up my Wii U, I had some issues with that because I didn't realize that at first. So it's really interesting. What they need to do is, just like every other console, like if I have a PlayStation 3 or 4 and I have a Vita, I sign in with my PlayStation username and password, and boom, it tells me I'm signed into the same account. My credit card or whatever is associated with that account. Any games that I have purchased and maybe that are cross-platform buy, I can play them. There's none of this fussing between like what works on this system, what one doesn't, and then this game is tied to this system, and it's just a freaking mess. But that's how Nintendo's doing it right now. So I was hoping that they would have at least said something about what their new system was going to be. Talk about, I'm guessing that'll be more when they talk about their NX, which is their code word for their upcoming system past the Wii U. They didn't talk about that either, but I'm guessing when they start talking about that, they will probably start to talk more about what it is that this system is going to be, because they really have to tell us, and they really have to get rid of some of this janky, like 20th century online, like AOL days.
Thanks for that.
They're just so far behind the times as far as like online stuff goes, which is really amusing, because the way that they handled their World Championship, the way that they handled their digital event today, was really good. They handled that stuff excellently. No streaming issues whatsoever. It was, all of them were well presented. Their presentation today was funny and informative. So that stuff is great, but they just need to get that, they need to be better about the whole gameplay aspect of online. So they didn't, unfortunately, talk about that. And of course, the Wii U Zelda was not mentioned. They already said ahead of time that it wasn't going to be, so although that makes me sad, just knowing that they're polishing it more, okay, fine. But I really, really do want to see it, because I'm hoping it's going to be great. So Square Enix, this one, they started out really strong. They showed Just Cause 3, and I have not covered Just Cause 2 on the channel yet, but that is a game, man, that is really crazy. It's open world, just stupid action. Like, you've got these cool, like these cable things. You can like attach one end to a car, one end to a person or whatever. You can fling them around, or like you can just, you can attach something that'll explode to something else and then just cause all kinds of damage. Players have actually added a multiplayer mod to Just Cause 2, where you just have a whole bunch of players just causing absolute nonsense, mayhem. And Just Cause 3 looks like everything that it should be. Once the nightmare of this Steam sale, summer Steam sale, calms down, which if I haven't mentioned already, in addition to E3 right now, if you're a Steam, if you want to get into Steam, or if you, if you're a Steam member, or if you are thinking about getting into Steam, now is the time to do it, because they're doing like this week-and-a-half long summer sale, and there are games on sale every day. I mean, at least there's flash sales twice a day. There's new deals every day. There's just all kinds of stuff. So, but Just Cause 2 was great. Just Cause 3 looks just absolutely more insane, if that's even possible. It almost reminds me of like Just Cause 2 meets Red Faction Guerrilla. Another game that I have not covered on the channel, but I really need to remedy because from last gen, Red Faction Guerrilla was one of my favorite games. Oh my god. The destruction that everything in the world was destructible. I mean, it was fun just to like, oh, you gotta rescue this, your mission was to rescue a guy? Okay, well, you could just go through their little base and, you know, go down the halls and try to rescue them like you would in any other game. Or, I could just plant C4 onto my truck, ram the wall, dive out of the truck, set off the explosive, blow a whole big frickin' hole in the wall, and then run out with my guy, assuming that I didn't accidentally get too close and blow him up in the process of infiltrating the building. But it just all that kind of stuff. Like, you're gonna have, they showed some gameplay, they showed like some destruction, they showed all kinds of cool stuff that way. And really, from what I've seen so far, there's nothing about this game that I don't like. So this is going to be probably a day one purchase for me later this year, because Just Cause 3, just watch the trailer, listen to their descriptions. It looks and just sounds, as far as gameplay wise, just incredible. Really fun. They did announce a new Nier game, which I'm not really going to spend any time on just because they didn't show much. And to be perfectly honest with you, I've heard of Nier, but I have no idea what it even is. I was going to look that up earlier and I forgot. But N-E-I-R, if you're into that, I've heard it's supposed to be pretty cool, but I don't even know what it is. So that's going to make definitely some people happy. Rise of the Tomb Raider, that's another thing that I'm not really going to spend much time on, because I talked about that yesterday from the Microsoft conference. But they talked this time a little bit more about how they really wanted to develop the Lara Croft character. Lara Croft Go, just like Hitman Go that they released last year on iOS, now they're trying to work on a Lara Croft Go. People really like the Hitman game on iOS, so people are pretty pumped about that. I haven't tried Hitman Go yet, but I should really check it out. So yeah, that's going to be coming out later. Final Fantasy VII Remake, again, not much I can really comment there. They showed the same trailer that they did last night. Said a few more words about it, but all they really basically said is, it's going to be a while. They said, yes, we're working on it, but basically, I think they just started it. So, yeah, there is that. Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key is going to be a portable game that's going to lead into Kingdom Hearts 3, and that is going to be coming to iOS as well. They didn't really show, they showed a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of kind of conceptual stuff, but like I said, I'm not quite sure how that's going to really play. It looked pretty action-y though, like I don't know if you just tap on the screen to attack enemies or whatever, but the art style looked decent. It might be worth looking into. And then, of course, they showed some Kingdom Hearts 3. I have very briefly looked into the Kingdom Hearts games. A couple friends of mine in college really were into them, so I watched them a little bit. I played a very brief bit. This is not a turn-based RPG. It is actually real-time action, so that would make it more appealing. As a matter of fact, I actually just picked up on Amazon for cheap a whole bunch of little PS3 collections games. There's so many, like for the PS2 and PS3 era, but they were dirt cheap on Amazon a little while ago. So the Kingdom Hearts games was one of them. I think they were like $13 for like 3 or 4 of them. So it's like, yeah, why not just collect them? But you know, I mean, the game looked really good. I mean, it was colorful, bright, a lot of graphic effects going on there. Yeah. You know, if you're into Kingdom Hearts, again, they said it's probably going to be a little while, but it is coming. They are making it, and it was funny because people you could hear a couple guys in the audience, and they were just losing it. They're like, yeah, and then they got done with everything, and it's like, thank you. But, I don't know, that was just kind of amusing. World of Final Fantasy, again, that's something I'm not really going to spend much time on because I talked about it last night, and they really didn't talk much more about it today. I don't exactly know what kind of game it is, but they're targeting more of, they want to have it for more family friendly, more like newcomer friendly. You know, they said, oh, well, people are just used to Final Fantasy, but for those who have never played it before, they're not, you know, maybe not as engaged or really don't want to try it maybe, so they're trying to get more people into the franchise. Hitman, they didn't really talk. They talked a little bit more about that. You know, this is, and I'm just pausing this here just so that, you know, I can go through some of these games really quickly for you guys. But Hitman, it sounds like basically what they're going to do is they have a set of these environments, and it's coming out in December. They are going to have a set of environments, and then they're going to basically use those, but they're going to give you new missions in those environments on an ongoing basis and somehow continue the storyline as it goes. So they said, like, if you have, let's say you had a 48-hour time period where you had to try to kill or assassinate somebody. Okay, well, if you got them, great. The story would go in one direction. If you missed or you didn't do the assassination or you botched it, that would also play into future missions. So it sounds like they're going to start with a very core set of levels and missions, and then over time they're going to add more assassinations, more levels, more... I don't know. I mean, there's some kind of multiplayer aspect to this. I don't know if it's just like comparing records or like if you're going to be able to do co-op stuff eventually. Or again, Square Enix, the problems that they had in the Square Enix show, they did a lot of talking and not a lot of showing. They showed a lot of things that were trailers, CG or cutscene trailers. But they would spend a lot of time of like, you know, they would talk about a game like Just Cause. I mean, they did show us some nice, you know, gameplay eventually, but a lot of the games they would talk about stuff like, this game is like really big and it's going to have this and you're going to have these types of weapons and this is how this is going to work. And they talk about it, but if you're doing that, that's fine if you narrate, but it would just show the speaker that was presenting. If you're going to do that, don't tell us these kinds of things. Show it on a screen. You know, even if it's not a full, like a live playthrough, show actual gameplay footage of these elements as you're talking about them. That would go a long way. You know, these are interactive forms of entertainment. These are games. You know, don't just talk about them. Show us. But Square was guilty about that quite a bit during this year's presentation. They did a couple of montages of like some, like the Sleeping Dogs edition that's coming out to modern consoles. There were some other games in there that they flashed by too quickly. I really couldn't see, but they did a couple of montages there. Star Ocean 5 they talked about. That is a ways off, but that's another. It is another more action RPG. Not, you know, it's real time. It's more action based instead of turn based and menus and stuff all the time. Again, looked pretty good. I did try to play one of the early, I think it was early Xbox 360 Star Ocean games. Thought it was going to be really good, but the combat just seemed really clunky, and there's just something about it that I just couldn't get into, and I kind of gave up. I remember that was when I was renting games from either GameFly or Gamerang. So yeah, that could potentially be one. Like I said, if you're a Star Ocean fan, there's definitely one of those coming for you. And then they ended with Deus Ex Mankind Divided. And now I'll play a little bit because I can talk a little bit about this one. So, a few years ago, what was it, 2011-ish or so, maybe 2012, I don't remember. The reboot for Deus Ex came out, and it was really fun. I played that through to completion. Really enjoyed it. And they're doing a new game in the series. It takes place like 20 years after the end of the previous game, where basically their whole spiel with it is there are people that get these cybernetic augmentations or enhancements, and they're basically seen as outcasts. People don't like them. They feel like they're being kind of persecuted. And then beyond that, I'm not exactly sure, but you know, the story for that could be pretty interesting. You know, Deus Ex has always been like a variety of different types of gameplay. where you could attack a mission in any number of ways. So you could try to sneak through a vent or hack a computer system to disable security. You could go all out guns blazing if you really wanted to. It might be a little bit harder, but you could. You know, all those types of avenues were available, and you could kind of shift that at any time. You know, the previous game, the weak part was the boss battles. It's like, oh, if I'm investing in a stealthy character, what is happening? You know, it's like, then you get to these boss battles where you actually have to shoot, and if you weren't invested in that, you were kind of struggling a little bit to get through those events because you weren't building your character that way. So hopefully, like, to me, in a game like that where it's like story and that, I don't really know why you need bosses. You know, if you have a good story, you're fighting enemies or you're trying to sneak through a mission, whatever. I don't know why you need a ginormous boss. I really don't think you do. Let me... Oh, wait. Oh, sorry, Ellis. I was hoping that the... Oh, what are you... Well, don't go back into the fire, you idiot. Alright. Well, that didn't work. But, so yeah, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, again, they showed a really long kind of trailer, but they didn't show gameplay. There was maybe a couple little snippets of what could be first-person gameplay. But again, like I said, it just really frustrates me. You're not showing a movie trailer. You're showing a video game. So that just really kind of bothers me. And like I said, I know if something is early on, you don't want to show a whole lot of gameplay because you're still kind of ironing things out. But, you know, I don't know. I just don't... If I want to see a trailer, you know, at least you can have the story bits, but at least at the end, you know, do a montage of gameplay sequences, little snippets of gameplay, so I can see more what the game is going to look like potentially. You know, yes, of course it'll change. It could change by the time the final release. I would expect nothing less, but it's a game. You know, I want to see gamey stuff, not just movie stuff. So that kind of wraps up the first two events, Square and Nintendo. I thought that was pretty, you know, a pretty good deal. Nothing, I didn't get too excited over anything in particular. One thing I actually really, I don't know how I spaced it out, but I forgot to totally mention on Microsoft's conference yesterday, was they didn't mention, I don't think they mentioned Kinect once, but they did mention the HoloLens, and they did a Minecraft. They're developing a special version of Minecraft for use with the HoloLens. So, like, you could have it on the wall, use your wall as a screen, but then they showed it as, like, a 3D object that you could, like, if you had it on your table, you would see the world. Like, one person could be playing on a tablet or on the computer, and then the other person would be using the HoloLens, and, like, you could see... You could actually see the other person in the game. You could, like, do, like, an overhead view. You could do a far away view. You could do, like, a close-up view. And just follow the character around as they were doing stuff. You could manipulate the world a little bit. If you know, you could lift up the world and see what was underneath the ground. And then you could mark things so that the other player could find them. You'd get these, like, beacons in there. So that was kind of cool. But that was something that I forgot to mention yesterday, that I don't know how I spaced that out on the Microsoft thing. But yeah, that was pretty kind of neat. So the main takeaways from today, I would say so far, again, we have the PC event that I'm going to talk about later. But the main takeaways from today, Nintendo, a lot of RPGs, surprisingly, a lot of 3DS stuff, some stuff that I would like to play, but I don't think I will because of my vision, some RPGs that I really don't care about, but honestly, the couple games that I will be getting probably day one is I will be getting Super Mario Maker, because that just looks insane and awesome in all the right ways, and I will probably, more than likely, be getting Yoshi's Woolly World when it comes out day one, because that just looks fun. And Nintendo games never really drop in price, so if you're expecting a nice discount, a nice sale, you know, oh, it's going to be half
Let's
price
get inside the stadium.
3 months
I have
down the
an
road.
idea.
Nintendo games, not so much. They really keep their value up. So
bear sounds
there
like
is
a
that.
witch. You all need to kill the lights.
As for Square, the main thing that I took out of there, Deus Ex I'll be getting probably, because I'll want to play through another one of those by the time it comes out, but that's a while away. The other thing is Just Cause 3. That seems like a day one purchase to me, because that just looks like all kinds of fun. I'm not positive, but I think it's supposed to have online co-op. If it does, online co-op, the destructibility like you would find in Red Faction Guerrilla, and just open world craziness, that just sounds like a hell of a good time, and I'm all about that. So yeah, some good stuff there. I think I'm going to wrap up this part of the video here, and that is today's events and a couple things I missed talking about yesterday. We have the PC gaming event tonight, which I will probably record sometime tomorrow after work, and you'll get your regular Wednesday video up tomorrow, more than likely. So, hope you guys are enjoying it so far. A little bit more to go. But, oh, one more thing I do want to mention. Wasn't in any of the press conferences, but I saw some video footage, or I saw a trailer for it. You know, they've released several Transformers games over the past several years, but they've been more of the realistic, you know, kind of based on the movie stuff. Platinum Games is going all out, it seems, and they're doing a whole bunch of games, but one of them that they're doing is, I forget what it's called, Devastation, I think? Transformers Devastation, I want to say. But they look like they're going almost back to, it looks like the G1 Generation 1, like cel-shaded-y, cartoony looking. I mean, it just looks really awesome. I want to see some actual in-game, real gameplay walkthrough for that, because that could potentially be really good. That's what I want to play. Everyone, you know, so we, you know, longtime Transformer fans. I grew up in the 80s. I grew up with Ninja Turtles, Transformers. We want that stuff, you know? The Generation 1, that's what we care about. Give us a great-looking Generation 1-esque Transformers game. Boom, you've sold me. Make it fun. Make it all about blown up stuff. You know, driving around, just all kinds of stuff. And that seems like maybe where they're going. So, one can hope. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. We'll do the PC game stuff later. And until next time, I will talk to you then.